All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there. We got a January 19th slate of NBA games. Decent amount of games, but like we always do, we're going to go through each and every one of these games. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my lean on the spread, give you my lean on the total. We'll talk about any player props that we like in the games, if any. But as always, all of my final plays, if you do want to fade me and do the opposite of those picks, my final plays are going to be in the pinned comment. Last night, the Guppies ain't gonna like that one. 3-0 sweep. Money gun coming out. Here we go. Warriors, Knicks under 237. Easy cash. Thunder minus 1.5. Everyone loved Utah yesterday. Read the comments. They cash. And then Colin Sexton over 19.5 points. The dude finishes with 30 plus. Another cash. A nice little sweep of a night, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button for that as well. The fun has to stop, though. Our ride of the day. And I hate to drop this womp womp because Gary took a plus 150 and beyond play, right? But you know the rules, Gary. He has Vince Williams, 15 plus points. He finishes with 10. And he had been cashing. He said in the comments, been cashing his ride of the day, so I know we'll give him another shot, but unfortunately, this one comes up short. But like I said, I almost reluctantly want to drop the womp womp because the dude gave a plus 155 play. A lot of the times with the ride of the days, you guys are scared. You're giving me minus 150s, that type of thing. So shout out to Gary for, putting his, what's on the table, saying, let's run it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out this time. But if you guys do want a chance of being the ride of the day and getting a shout out on the next video, as well as on my Twitter, which the Twitter is not there, at EvGuyBoston. Usually it's on the screen. Go ahead and use that hashtag ride of the day in the comments. Give me an absolute lock of a pick. I'm picking one person's pick and jumping on board with you and giving you a shout out again. Win or loss on tomorrow's video, and then also on my Twitter at EvGuyBoston. EvGuyBoston. Spelling B champ. Now let's go ahead and jump into today's slate. We got some good games. We got some weird games. Let's talk about them. Talking about a weird game here, and honestly just a bad game. Charlotte hosting the Spurs here, so no Wembanyama for San Antonio here. San Antonio coming off of a loss against Boston a couple nights back. Charlotte coming off of a loss a couple nights back against New Orleans. Now, I'm not going to be laying the points here. I can see why someone wouldn't like to look at San Antonio without Wemby, but to me, it's like, okay, no Wemby. You might get Zach Collins back. Maybe they play good. I guess I'm just saying I would never expect the Hornets to win against anybody by 5 or more points. So I'm going to lean towards San Antonio. No chance that becomes a final play. I'll tell you that right now. It just doesn't seem worth it in my opinion. And then in terms of a total here, 237, I think it could be a little bit too high. Like this San Antonio offense, even the Charlotte offense actually, like these teams are struggling. Charlotte has not breached 120 in 10 straight games here. San Antonio, 4 straight games not doing that. 2 straight games of 100 or less. I know there's not going to be a lick of defense being played in this, but the offense still has to show up, right? And I don't know if I trust that, so slight lean towards the under in this game as well. Big under, maybe not. I can see this finishing, at like 230, which is close, but no cigar in terms of hitting that over. So give me the under as well as a potential lean towards the Spurs. I think the only thing that could be a final play would be the under, but I doubt we touch this game with a 10-foot pole. No player props I like in the game either. All right, next up, we have Orlando taking on Philadelphia here. Right now, Orlando getting 5.5 points at home, which I'll say is a decent chunk of points. The total sitting at 221.5, which I'll say isn't that much of a chunk of points. We'll start with the total in this one because, like I said, I think that, and like I said in the last video, when Embiid plays and this Philly offense is firing on all cylinders, I chalked them up for a 120 plus game, no matter who they're playing. They played Houston in Houston, who, arguably could be just comparable to Orlando's pace of play and everything like that, right? And Philly drops 120 plus on them, and obviously goes and hits that over too. I think that this is another spot where this over has a great chance of hitting. Now, Franz Wagner, I believe, is still out here. I think he's ruled out. He's either ruled out or unlikely to play, which is a huge hit to Orlando. And if you look at their recent games here, especially without him, I've been singing the same song, that their offense has totally struggled, right? Last 5 games, 92, 96, 100, 98, 104. And there's a couple games in there against Atlanta they only scored 104 against. Like, this offense is not cooking. That 104 is equal to like 140 if you're playing Atlanta, right? So it's like, they're really, really struggling here, but I think Philadelphia carries the offensive weight. Maybe Orlando stays in this game. I like the over 221.5. Now, like I said, maybe Orlando stayed in this game. I am going to lean towards Philadelphia because I told you guys all along, without Franz Wagner, I am, kind of skeptical of betting the Magic. And we even got a couple comments, stop betting against the Magic. It's like, why? The Magic not, doing all that well since he's been out. They've lost more games than they've won. They've not covered in more games than they've covered. So it's like, I think that dude is such an instrumental piece of that team. When he goes down, it's like when Halliburton's gone from the Pacers type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think it affects them that much. So give me the Sixers in this spot. Still no D'Anthony Melton for them, but it's kind of like if Embiid's a go, it's good looking to me. In terms of a player prop, I don't mind Tobias Harris here. I'm going to look at his points, rebounds, and assists. Right now it's at 25.5. He's hit this 61% of games this year. He's hit it in 8 of his last 10. And in his last 5 games against the Magic, he's hit it in 4 of his last 5. The only time that he didn't hit it was about a year ago, and he finished with 17.6 rebounds, 1 assist. That's 1 rebound, 1 assist away from cashing. And this is his old team. Remember that. So maybe there's a little added motivation there. He's averaging 17 shots over those last 5 games against the Magic as well. To put that in perspective, he only shoots about 13 times per game on this season. So I think he's got a little motive there against his old team. So I don't mind him looking at his overs. It doesn't have to be his PRA if you just like his points line, whatever you like. I do think that's a decent spot for him today. But you know who it's an even better spot for? Anthony Davis to score 1 damn point, guys. Go check out Sleeper. I have a link in the pinned comment. You get 7 days free. You get 100% of your first deposit matched. 7 days free with the next thing we're going to talk about in a little bit. 100% of your first deposit matched, and you get this Anthony Davis free score as a new user. I'm using Sleeper all the time. If you guys follow me on TikTok, at EvPicks, 2 Z's on picks, you see me posting about the Sleeper app because it really is one of my favorite pick'em apps out there right now. We're really rocking with Sleeper, Chalkboard, and Prize Picks as our main 3 right now because they all do something a little bit different, right? But what Sleeper does different is the unique payout structure and the unique multipliers that they have for their squares here. So, Anthony Davis, 1.86x for his pick type of thing on an over stands true even when you have this free square versus it just being one of the picks in your slip. So each and every payout is different, guys. Go check it out. Take my word for it or just go try it for yourself. Sleeper is awesome. You get 100% of your first deposit matched and you get this Anthony Davis free square. Go sign up. And like I said, we got a 7-day little trial thing that I wanted to talk to you about as well. It is OddsJam, guys. That link is also in the pinned comment. You could use that link, get 7 days free. And on top of that, use code GUYBOSTON, GUYBOSTON, and take advantage of 25% off your first month. I'm on the arbitrage screen right now. Now, I posted a video on arbitrage betting a while back. Go check that out. But this is probably my favorite OddsJam tool. What it does is looks at multiple sports books and lets you know that you could take both sides of a bet. For example, I know this is a basketball video, but hockey-wise, you can go Devils and Blue Jackets total goals. Over on Cut, you could take over 6.5 if you have access to all these books, right? Over 6.5 over there and under 6.5 over on BetMGM. Say you put, $50 on MGM, 54.03 over on Cut, you'd make a profit of 97 cents. Now, you're probably thinking, oh my God, why would you risk that much money to make 97 cents? Well, duh, it is risk-free. There's no risk involved. If you could guarantee that you have a money tree out back and go take $1 from it each and every day, why wouldn't you do it, right? So go check out OddsJam, guys. Again, link in the pinned comment for 7 days, as well as a promo code of GuyBoston. Get you 25% off. Next up, we have Boston taking on Denver. Now, I recognize this is going to be a very good game, and I also recognize that I'm a Boston Celtics fan, so maybe I'm a little biased here, but I'm going to lean towards the Celtics because they're the home team here. So Celtics 20-0 at home this season, which is absolutely superb. Against the spread, just 13-7, but that would still be good if I wasn't comparing it to 20-0, right? So it is a little interesting overall against the spread wise because it is a good number. But they're so much better. There's a decent amount of losses or wins there that haven't covered. But Denver just 7-14 on the road against the spread, 18-24, 11-10 overall on the road. It's like, this is a Denver team that just isn't as good on the road as they are at home, and they're a really good team. I get that. And this is a lot of points. So if you were on the Denver side of things, I don't think I'd talk you off it because I'd first and foremost be like, well, maybe my bias is kicking in, right? Maybe I'm a Celtics fan that's like, let's go Celtics. But I do think that this is a Celtics team that is just rocking. I mean, they haven't had the hardest of schedules as of late. Houston, they won 145 to 113. Then they played Toronto, won that game by 9 points. And then they played San Antonio and beat the brakes off them, right? So it's like, all right, right, well, maybe they haven't been battle tested like Denver, who has played New Orleans, Utah. They played Philly. This is all within the last 5. So I get it if you are on the Denver side of things. I'm trusting the Celtics here. The number's probably too big for me to make it a final play, so kind of gives you a sense of where I'm at. But I do think that they win this game, and I don't know if 6.5 is enough to give Denver. Like that's why I'm probably staying away from that side of it. In terms of the total here, 234 seems high. But what part of, I guess you could say either one of these teams' offenses would tell you to not look at the over. So I am going to be taking a slight peek at the over. I know defense, but we're in a world where these big games, teams try to score. You know what I mean? Like the Celtics go into this game saying, let's drop 140 on the Nuggets, not let's hold them to 90. And that's just the NBA world we live in. So I'm going to take a peek at the over as well. Now, another play that I'm looking at in this game, and it's a pretty juiced play here at -160 on Caesars, Jaylen Brown over 2.5 assists. So he's averaged 6.5 potential assists in his last 5 games, which we like to see. He's hit this in 66% of games this year. He's hit it in both of his last 2 games against Denver. And what I'll say, again, -160, super juiced, right? This is at -190 over on DraftKings, -170 on FanDuel. So there is some value here in taking this. So don't be surprised if that is a final play in the pinned comment later. Jaylen Brown's not a passer, but we're not asking for him to get a bunch of assists tonight. Next up, we have the Heat taking on Atlanta. I think the Heat are a better team. They're almost more due for a win as well. That was a tough loss against Toronto, who just traded Pascal Siakam, and they got smoked by them, right? But now they're back home for one game. Then they travel to Orlando, which is not really like a tough travel for them, obviously, but it's not a home game. And Atlanta is sitting here. This is the first game, I believe, after a homestand. So this could be kind of a tough spot for them. I don't think Atlanta's all that trustworthy. Trae Young's also questionable, so if he doesn't play, then boom, give me Miami. But 6.5 is a lot to lean right now. I'm still going to do it, but it's a little bit too much here. Now, the total sitting at 227. Give me the under. I know Atlanta plays no defense, but this Miami team has been playing very, very slow as of late. Their last couple games have been 96-95, and then they scored 97 points against Toronto, who put up 121, so not that fast, but even still like under this number, right? So I think this number is just a little bit too high. I think Atlanta's inflating it, but I don't trust Atlanta to carry the pace. Their last 3 games have been super low scoring as well. So give me the under in this spot. It's always scary taking an under with Atlanta involved, but this actually has a chance of being a final play. Now, from a player prop perspective, nothing really jumps out at me. I think this could be a sloppy game with no real edge. So you guys can let me know in the comments if you have anything that you like in this spot for players, but nothing jumping out at me, especially with Trae Young being injured. It's like who's in, who's out, that type of thing. All right, New Orleans taking on Phoenix. Now, in this one, I understand that, a lot of people may be on Phoenix, and I'm not going to really say that that's crazy. They've won 3 straight games. The only real, I guess, good win there, I would say, would be Sacramento, and they didn't cover in that spot. New Orleans, however, is playing good basketball now. It hasn't looked like it as of late, but Orlando has been a team that they're beating up on teams that they're not beating up, but beating teams they should beat, and then losing to really good teams like Denver, like the Clippers, right? Like 2 of their 3 losses in their last 10 have been against those 2 teams. I think that New Orleans pulls this one out. Now, again, if you're on Phoenix, I get it. They're playing better basketball, and how can you not, look at that starting 5 and be like, Durant, Booker, Beal, you know what I mean? I totally get it. But you're just not going to get me there. I think that I do think that this is a spot in which I'm liking New Orleans. Now, 2.5 points isn't asking all that much. If this was 4.5, 5.5, maybe I'd start second guessing it. But as of right now, give me New Orleans here. And I'm also going to look at the under because New Orleans is a team that, they've cast a few overs as of late, but if they're going to beat Phoenix and they want to beat Phoenix, I think this game stays relatively low scoring. Last time they played, got really close to this line, obviously, 118 to 114. So it's okay, I see you. But I think this game finishes right around 229 to 231, which gives us a couple buckets there of margin. So I'm going to lean slightly towards the under there as well. Now, I have 2 player props that I don't mind in this spot. We got burned with this pick last time, but I'm looking at Devin Booker under 7.5 assists. So he's averaging 11 assists, 11 potential assists in his last 5 here. He had 11 assists in that game against Sacramento, right? And he had 3 going into the 4th quarter. So I thought that was a cash. It did not work out. We got burned, but I like this spot for him to get under 7.5 assists. Now, against point guards and shooting guards this year, I guess against point guards this year, because Booker's the Point guard. Wow, I just had a brain fart. New Orleans not allowing many assists, the fourth fewest overall on this season here. Now, Booker, you can make the argument he's a shooting guard, but he hasn't been for quite some time, right? So it's like, all right, point guard, point guard, point guard. Now, the next one we're going to look at a weakness of the New Orleans defense when it comes to assists. I like Grayson Allen over 2.5 assists. Now, he gets the start at small forward, but we know that he is a shooting guard and plays plenty of the two during the game. And New Orleans this season allowing, no other teams allowing more assists to the shooting guard position than Grayson Allen. So over 2.5 assists for him, I really don't mind. He's hit this in 66% of games this year, 70% of his last 20, and 8 of his last 10, coming off a game against Sacramento in which he had 6 assists. So give me Grayson Allen over 2.5 assists. Similar to that Jaylen Brown, I like the matchup, and we're not asking for all that much from him, right? He, on the other hand, isn't getting that many potential assists, under 5 in his last 5, but nonetheless, he's passing to some guys that, you know, Booker, Durant, and Beal. One of those assists could be an easy catch and shoot to Durant in the corner, Beal in the corner, that type of thing. So a lot of scorers around him. I like him to be able to get that. Next up, we have Indiana traveling to Portland to take on the Trailblazers here. Indiana with tons of injuries. So Pascal Siakam, questionable here. Nembhard, questionable. Nesmith, questionable. Tyrese Halliburton, looks like he is not going to get the go here either. He has been game time decision. Actually, he could play because he's game time decision. We don't know how these NBA players work that out, right? So maybe Tyrese Halliburton plays. I have a weird feeling that they don't bring him back for a game against Portland. You know what I mean? So I have a tough time thinking that he's going to play, but nonetheless, guys, this is one of those sloppy games, you know, weird games. I'll take Indiana minus the points. Don't love it. Not going to fall in love with it. Total sitting at 238. I also don't know really what to do with this total. This Portland offense has been really, really bad. Indiana also without Tyrese Halliburton has been a consistent offense, so I'm going to lean under. Not going to make a play on it. That's kind of where my head is at, I guess. All right, Lakers taking on Brooklyn. Lakers are at the house, and they're good this year, you know, when at home. They're 16-7 overall at home this season. Against the spread, not as great, but they're playing Brooklyn, who is a bad team against the spread. It's so weird because Brooklyn started the year as one of the best against the spread teams, and poof. Now they're just not playing. So give me the Lakers in this spot. 6.5 points is probably too much for me to make it a final play. But who knows? Maybe it shows up down there. So keep an eye on that pinned comment. Now the total sitting at 227. I have a feeling this is just a slow, grinded out type game. Give me the under. I think this is like a game in which the Lakers win, you know, maybe 110 to 103 or something like that, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna lean towards the under in this one as well. Player prop wise, also a game in which I don't really love anything. Nothing truly jumps off the page. D'Angelo Russell is his old team. I don't think I'm going to be looking at that necessarily. I've also considered LeBron James under 7.5 rebounds. Just from a rebound chances perspective, he's only averaging 11 rebound chances in his last 5. Anthony Davis has been playing his hog off, so it's like 7.5 may be a lot to ask for from LeBron. But again, this game's kind of sloppy, so we'll see where we end up. And guys, before we do close up the show, obviously the Dallas and Golden State game was on the slate, but we're not talking about that game because it's been postponed. If you don't know why, the Warriors assistant coach, I believe his name, I want to say it's Dejan Milojevic, probably mispronouncing the name, but they had a team dinner and he died. He had a heart attack. Like, he passed away. It's the most gut-wrenching thing. I think he had 2 kids, a wife, 46 years old, guys. Oh, gives you the chills, gut-wrenching, like I said. So, you know, thoughts and prayers, best wishes to the family, friends, and I'm feeling that, guys. That is super, super sad to learn. I know their Utah game got postponed, and we were like, what's going on? They said a death near the Warriors family. Never mind, like, right in the heart of the family, their assistant coach, right? This guy's worked with tons of big men over the years as well, which, you know, many regarded him as a great coach. He played professionally overseas too, so it is so hard to learn something like that or to hear something like that. So again, thoughts and prayers to his family, to the Warriors, everything like that. But that's why we're not talking about the game. It's been postponed again, and rightfully so. But yeah, not to end the episode on a somber note or anything like that. But guys, you don't know what you got till it's gone. 46 years old. Are you kidding me? Damn. But guys, hope you guys did enjoy the show today. If you did, hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you get those hashtag right of the days in the comments. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.